Welcome back to part two, everybody. The last time we saw how we were able to put down, draw the lines by visualizing the line, looking at the line onto the paper, projecting the line onto the paper, and drawing a sketch. So we will now begin to put on the details because we have the basic drawing in place. So let's begin. Once again, we can start by the eye. It's a good place to start because it's going to give us a good. That's the most difficult thing to get the expression, so it's very important to begin there. Okay, you could begin anywhere, but this is a good place. So now I'm going to refine the lines a little bit more and be very careful to make sure that I show all the tiny little bends that are in this. So here my focus is now on detail. So I'm going to look at this line, and it's a good way for you to do this is to stay on the eye first, okay, on this eye, and work on it. See, you see how I'm drawing the detail, and this time I'm careful to make sure that I am putting in all the bends, the bend, and also I'm modeling it. To finish this drawing, right, you have to think about it like you have to go over the entire surface of every little thing. So it's very important. So you see how I went over the eye and it's getting much better. And here it's tapering off right there. I want to make sure this distance is correct. Separate the light and the shadow of the upper eyelid, and a little suggestion for the eyelid on the bottom and at the very tip of the eye. All this is very important. All right, and then the distance in here, right, between the nose bridge and the eye where it starts. See, I cover all this. And as you can see, the eyebrow can be a little bit longer, so I'm going to make those adjustments. There it is. Now we continue to put in the shade. This is a little bit dark. It's going up this way. All right, and I'm actually trying to do this part, okay, first. And now since I did the eye, and also we are pressed for time, so I'm doing it a little bit faster, but you want to do it slower. So here you go. Now we come to the forehead. And this right here, you can't ignore all of this. All of this is going to have to be, and one good way for you to do is to make these strokes, this, when you shade, you're going to have to do it. There are two ways. You're going to cross hatch, or just go diagonal like this, and then cross hatch where you want it to be darker. Okay, just like I'm doing right here. You see how I'm going over this side of it, and I want to be able to make sure that I completely cover the entire face. And I now have the cheekbone suggestion shade right here. So I'm going to lay that in. So I want to see all these things that are here in my drawing. So do I see this? Yes. Now is that right? And now let's go to the neck. We come down here to the neck, and there's a little suggestion of the collar and the shirt that he's wearing right there. You see how I was able to see this eye compared to this now with all the detail. And let's go to the nose and put in that. I want to make sure that I show that there's a shadow underneath the nose that's going to pop it up, and the shadow behind the nostril right here, and on the bridge. You want to make sure that you cover all this with your pencil. You can't leave any space white or ignore it because it's part of the drawing. So you're going to have to make sure that it's like sculpture. You're sculpting the entire, if you're modeling with clay, you're going to touch up. You will be All right, so it's not just the lines now, it's all what's on the inside. It's the area, not the perimeter, the area. So there is the cheek. As you can see, it's right there, and always refer back to it. The nose, you're going to do the nose right there. Okay. Then the mouth, right there in the mouth. And actually this time when I go over this second time, I'm once again making corrections. And this time I'm paying attention to the very tiny bends. You see the tiny bend of the cheekbone there? These are critical for you to get the likeness. Coming down, we have the beard. The lips may be slightly longer. There seems to be a slightly longer, okay? And the beard. Okay. And now we go to the neck. There's the shadow of the neck. And you see how I'm painting the details. And before I forget, guys, I want to go back up here to the eye to bring it all together. And once again, I would do this much slower than I'm doing right now, because I'm doing it much faster because I want to show it in real time for you guys. But you would want to go over this a little bit slower than I am, but the process is what we're talking about. It's the process that it goes through, you know, the layout, the first light drawings, the lines, the outlines, and then the details, and then the revisions, and then going over it. That's the process that you have to go through with this, because you have to complete the drawing. It's very important. Many people don't complete the drawing, but it's important for you to go over and complete everything before you call it completed and finished. And even if it doesn't come out right, the act of completion itself is a massive reward. So you have to continue. As you practice, you're going to get better, but keep working on those drawings and making them, practice them every day. And please watch my videos. I'm going to be putting a lot more. Okay. So in about 5 more minutes, we want to be able to get as much detail into this as possible. And at the same time, well, now it's a good time for us to talk about using an eraser for a little and put in the highlights. You see, as I erase, I'm once again trying to get this as close as possible to what we have here in front of us. Okay? So I have to readjust some of these lights to bring it all together, you see? And so now we're coming up close. We need to get this. I think there is a little bit of light under the eyebrow here, you see that? And broaden the nose bridge a little bit. That's better. As you can see, you need to keep on correcting this. You know, it's you work on it for a very long time, many hours. But for our purposes, as part 2, we're almost coming close to this. All right. You see how it's getting much better, and it's almost there. So now we're going to bring it all together. And how do you bring it all together? I'm going to tell you right now. You see that? There is this picture, and it looks very, very close to the original drawing that we're looking at, right? So see that? And also I'm paying attention to the values, the darks and the lights and the grays and the whites. It's very important that you blend them together to make a harmonize them all together. Alright, so there you go, guys. Very nice. Now I'm going to tell you, in the last 3 minutes that I have left, I want to show you the process of how I would work this. And I would work it like this. Now that I call this kind of finished in a way, because we went through the two parts. Part 1, we discussed how we laid out the drawing, and part 2, we added in the details. But you could work on this for much longer to make it even more nicer. And the way you finish it is up to you. There are many different people have different kind of finishes to this drawing. Some you could have it realistic, or you could have it sort of like this, like the master work, the European masters, and I like it like this, like Vincent van Gogh and all these people. They have you leave the strokes, right? You show the strokes, rather than having it very rigidly realistic like a photograph. I prefer to keep it this way. And think of this as a preparatory drawing for a painting. It's going to come out beautiful if you did it in acrylics. So these strokes are enough for you to make a wonderful painting. Okay, as you can see, I'm bordering this off right there to bring it all together. There's still some errors in it. You can still fix them, but the process, this is the process we go through to get to where we are right now. Also, I want to tell you this, which is, as a final part to this, right, I would suggest that you do this. This is what I would do. You have to go over the entire drawing a couple of times. I'm talking about right now. I would sit at this drawing and go over it in the following manner. And this is a tip, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. You have to say forehead, call out loud, and then work on this forehead. See if everything is matching and everything is right. Then you have to say eyebrows, and then stick with the eyebrows, stay on the eyebrows, work on the eyebrows. Then you have to say eyes and work on the eyes. Then the nose bridge, then the nostrils, then the mustache, then the upper lip, lower lip. In this manner, you're going to actually say it out loud, spend time on it, revise it at least 3 times. Believe me, you're going to love, if you do this, you're going to really find it very, very, something miraculous is going to happen to you. Okay, so do that 3 times, go over it before you call it finished, and then your drawing is done. So just to review, we began with this Paul Cézanne's drawing, went over it, visualized the lines, laid down the lines, and then worked in the detail. And finally, now that we're completed, my suggestion is that you trace this without actually touching it. Just trace it and complete the entire drawing. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for doing this, for tuning in. We're going to see you again very soon. I'm going to put more videos. Check me out and subscribe. Tell your friends, share. Have a great day.